Hello, I'm now going to show you how to use a function called Vlookup. Now Vlookup is a function which allows you to pull information from one list into another based on if there is a relationship between the two lists. So in my example I've got here, which is super simple compared to what you will perhaps try this on, I have a list where I'm going to put the transactions in. So this will be items that I'm going to sell in this case. And then I have a list where I have sort of the prices for what I potentially am going to sell. Now, what I would like to do is in the transactions list, I would like to type in, here we go, let's go for grapes and potentially let's go for beer. Now, when I type that information in, I would like the Excel using Vlookup to go and find the price for grapes from the price list and bring it back. I would like Excel to go and find the price for beer from the price list and bring it back and display it there. And that is exactly what Vlookup does. So how Vlookup works, you tell it something that you're trying to find, i.e. in this case grapes. You tell it somewhere that you're trying to find the information from. So I'm trying to find more information about grapes from the price list. Then Vlookup will go down the first column and it will go line by line and it will say, in this case, are your grapes? No, 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 stop. When it finds a match to grapes, we tell it another piece of information, which is, which column do we want to bring back? Now this column in the list is treated as column 1. This column in the list is treated as column 2. So once it finds grapes, we tell it we want to jump across to column 2, and that's the piece of information that it's going to bring back. Now that's why it's called Vlookup, because it looks down a list. So Vlookup is meant for vertical lists that you're trying to find information from. There is also one called HLOOKUP, which looks across a list. Now Vlookup looks down and then goes across. HLOOKUP will look across and then go down. So let me show you how to put this Vlookup function in place. And I'll start off by saying that I am doing this Vlookup in one sheet, but you could quite easily do the Vlookup between separate sheets or also separate workbooks. It's entirely up to you. So how we do this, I'm going to click into the cell where I would like the Vlookup to be. I'm going to start off by pressing equals, and I'm just going to type in VL. And can you see it pulls up Vlookup? If I then just press tab on my keyboard, can you see it will fill the rest of that in and give me my bracket? Now these are the things that it's expecting me to tell it in order for it to pull the information back about grapes from the other list. So lookup value is the first thing it needs. That is, what am I trying to find in the other list? So I'm going to try and find some information about grapes. Comma. Table array. That's where I'm trying to find the further information about grapes from. Now we can either highlight the list like so, which that means it's going to pick up the whole list plus anything else that gets added to it, or we can highlight the list like so. If we do this, we must make sure we dollar that area off. Now I quickly added the dollar symbol in by pressing F4 on the keyboard, and that will fix that range. Now I am going to just make this much more simple. I'm going to highlight the columns. Now once we've highlighted the columns, comma, column index number is the next thing it's looking for. Remember I said at the start, this is column 1, this is column 2. Now if price was here or here, it would be column 3 or 4 or whatever. So I'm going to put number 2. After this, comma, we're looking for an exact match of grapes to grapes. So I'm going to either type the word false, or if I want to be a bit more lazy, 0. That's the same to Excel in this context as saying false. Once I'm ready, close the bracket, press enter on my keyboard to finish that formula off. If I then, and can you see it brings the price back for grapes? If I then drag that down, so there's a few more lines that it can pull information back about. Beer, can you see it's brought 5 back? If I now type in curry, which would be rude not to, can you see there it brings back 3 for curry? Or if I type in apple, can you see it brings back 3 for apple? Or pear, can you see it brings back 4 for pear? So whatever you type in here, provided there's a match to it in this list, it's going to pull that information back. If you type something in which doesn't exist in the price list, or you don't type something there, it's going to come up saying NA. NA stands for non-applicable, which means it can't find a match to something in the other price list. The other thing to just be aware of is the information that you're trying to find needs to be in the first column of the list that you are actually selecting, because VLOOKUP will only ever look down that first column and find a match to what you're looking for. The other thing to be aware of is, and it's a slight caveat, if grapes was mentioned in that price list more than once, it's the first instance of grapes that VLOOKUP is going to bring information back about. So it stops at the first time it finds a match to whatever you're looking for. So that is a bit about how to use VLOOKUP to pull information from one list into another.